see here. Where's my information? Dr. Kramer. He's originally from Bordentown, New Jersey, so this is close to you guys. He had an intense introduction to what stress does to the body back in 1993. When just a young fellow, he said, I joined the Army. Originally from New Jersey, left at 19 years old to embark on a new career. I had no idea at the time where that would lead me and where I would eventually end up. I have served my country in Somalia as an Army Ranger. Directly after 9/11, I served as a supervisor of the tunnel and bridges security. And I now currently hold the position of Senior Logistics Manager in Fort Jackson, South Carolina. These great demands, long hours, and incredible responsibility taught me about commitment, passion, and follow through, something I took with me on my journey, becoming a chiropractor. I have been in the chiropractic field for 14 years, starting as a massage therapist and CA under the wonderful mentorship of Dr. Eric and Denise Evans, both of whom I own great tribute to my success as a chiropractor today. Working in their office, I learned about healing. I saw miraculous changes happen to those under chiropractic care. This excited me, and because I realize now, incredibly, the body is a self-healing mechanism. But as a massage therapist, I was restricted to providing only temporary relief to my patient. When nerve interference was present, so onward I traveled to pursue chiropractic, so I may save others in a great capacity. I entered into the chiropractic school in 2001 to only be called again by my country and serve a year doing Homeland Security. I was 1 year into my education when this happened, and had to return to New Jersey to serve my country once again. This was a long year for me, anxiously waiting to get back to my true passion, chiropractic. When my year was finished, I moved to South Carolina and attended Sherman College of Chiropractic. It is there that I embraced the art of chiropractic with reckless abandonment. I became a member of the World Chiropractic Council. Over the last 3 years, have traveled to Denmark, Australia to discuss chiropractic and become more educated in the field of chiropractic. Let's take this time to welcome our chiropractor, Dr. Kramer.
Thank you.
I'm having some chiropractic issues right now.
I think I got to shorten my bio. All right. Well, my name is Dr. Tom Cranmer, and I want to congratulate you for coming in here on a busy Saturday and learning some new things. And I love speaking in churches because there's a sense of community here, right? So, because God is good, amen? Outstanding. All right. So I'm going to ask you a couple questions. Okay. My first question is, what is the fastest growing population in the United States today? It is the centenarian. So what's a centenarian, right? Centenarian is someone who lives to be 100 years old, right? There are 50,000 centenarians in the United States today. In 2050, there will be 400 million centenarians in the world, and 2 million of them will be right here in the United States. Wow. So let's look at a couple of our centenarians. We know we've seen this guy before, right? George Burns, Bob Hope, and this young lady right here is 114 years old. Her name is Geraldine Talley, and she lives in Michigan. Pretty amazing woman right here. And I'm going to show a couple pictures of her later. But let's see what George had to say. George said, if I knew I was going to live this long, I would have taken better care of myself, right? The guy has cigars, all kinds of things going on, right? Amazing person. So that means that we have choices, right? And we've been talking about good, healthy choices all day today. So do you want to be this young lady right here, who's 80 years old and decided to jump out of a perfectly good airplane. Right? Wow. I don't know what it is about older folks, but they like to jump out of airplanes once they hit like 80. You could be like this gentleman right here who's playing video games with possibly his great-grandson. Or we can make unhealthy choices, and we end up, 70 years old, unable to get up, and unable to do things, right? We don't want to do that, right?
Right, that's right.
Outstanding. Okay, so let's move forward. I'm going to talk just briefly on nutrition, briefly on exercise, mostly on structure, okay? Now, we remember this young lady right here, Geraldine from Michigan, 114 years old. She is a super centenarian. That means she made it to 110 years old. Pretty amazing, right? Oldest woman in the United States. And last year she went catfish fishing. She caught 8 catfish with her godson. Pretty amazing, right?
Yes.
All right, so let's look at a couple things. So I said briefly I want to talk about nutrition because I think there was a nutritionist here before. And she or he, because I came a little bit late, may agree with some of these things. So raw food, right? And I'm not talking about sushi. I'm talking about raw nuts, seeds, grains. I want you to try some of these things. Try to branch out and do something different. Raw food, the concept is this. If you get a bean, right, from the store and you just cook it, it's a stagnant bean, right? What happens if you put it in some water and you grow it, right? There's some life there, right? So the concept is this. Grow some of these sprouts, nuts, and grains so there's life there, and you get enzymes that actually help you assimilate some of the nutrients much better than if it was, a stagnant bean. So, real great concept. Phytonutrients, right here, micronutrients, they give food their color. Now, these things can help with heart disease, strokes, cancers, type 2 diabetes, slow the aging process, preserve eyesight, and brain function, right? All important things for the centenarian, right? So, what does that mean? That means eat organically, talk to the nutritionalist, because I don't want to steal any thunder there. Talk to the nutritionalist and ask some of these questions, right? But stay away from this. Who can read that? That's a standard American diet. I call it the SAD diet, right? What does that consist of? It consists of
dairy, everything processed.
meat, bread, dairy, cooked foods, caffeine, alcohol. Okay, now this creates an acidic environment in your body.
Yes.
Okay? When you have an acidic environment in your body, you are more apt to disease. If you are more alkaline, okay, so eat all your veggies like Grandma used to tell us. You eat your veggies and you get more alkaline, so you are less prone to disease.
Yes.
So I'm going to talk just briefly about one of these things right here. Now this is a raw food list, and I'm not going to give you the recipes. If you want the recipes, feel free to email me. But I'm going to talk about this right here. Who here, when they cook, who here's burnt anything ever?
Oh, boy.
Oh yeah, I burn everything all the time. But guess what? This is raw food. You don't cook it. So you're not going to burn anything here, right? So this right here is chocolate mousse. How do you make it? You actually get an avocado and spoon it out, mash up an avocado, put a little cocoa in there, some agave, mix it all up, and it tastes just like chocolate mousse.
Really?
Healthiest thing you ever had. Kids even like it. Yeah, try to get a kid to eat a regular avocado. It's pretty hard. So, these are wonderful things. I'll send you a list later. Feel free to email me. And if you just do one of these things here, you could end up like this guy.
Oh, yes.
Right? This guy is Banana George. Right? Banana George was an amazing guy. Right? He lived to be 98 years old. He, on his 90th birthday, had to make a decision whether he's going to jump out of a perfectly good airplane or he's going to continue and do barefoot water skiing. All right, so he picked the water skiing. I don't know what it is about jumping out of airplanes, but people when they get older, they like doing this. So, Banana George, all right, pretty amazing guy. Now I'm going to try something with you folks, okay? Who would like to be like Banana George when they're in the 90s?
Oh,
Would you like to be? Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say who you want to be like, and you're going to say Banana George. Okay? Who you want to be like?
Banana George.
Who you want to be like?
Banana George.
Damn, I love it. Okay. So let's talk a little bit more. Who remembers this guy? Jack LaLanne, right?
LaLanne.
Everybody remembers Jack LaLanne. He was a chiropractor, so we're real proud of him for that. But he liked doing a lot of stunts, right? How amazing is it? He was 45 years old, and he did 1,000 push-ups and 1,000 chin-ups in 86 minutes. Amazing, right? When he was 70, he shackled himself up and handcuffed and tied 70 boats to his back and swam 1.5 miles. Now, do not try this at home, and especially when you're 70 for the first time, okay? I can't even dog paddle a quarter mile, so I don't know how he did this, but an amazing guy. Let me get back in there. Okay, so he said that he never ate anything man-made, and he did a lot of juicing, right? So I'm briefly going to talk about exercise. Was there an exercise person talked about today?
Yes, a little bit. Yes,
Okay, good.
Yes, you
Talk to that person, whoever that person is. Talk to them about exercise and getting well. Because I can't just give you a plan, right? Each person is different. You're going to be different from this gentleman right here.
That's
right. So you want to speak with that person, and you can get some of the benefits of exercise. And I'm just going to talk about it real quick. So, improves your mood. All right. Who here gets in a bad mood every once in a while?
Oh, yeah.
Just once in a while, right? Just go on a run, right? Go for a walk. All right. Combat chronic diseases, helps manage your weight. That's always important. Strengthens your heart, promotes better sleep, and hey, it can even be fun, right? Okay, I'm going fast. I'm talking fast. I love talking in front of people. Okay, let's see what we got next. Okay, so posture evolution. Now I want to talk about structure, because that's what chiropractors do. I like to look around my audience, and I like to see how they sit. Let's see, everybody kind of sits up a little better, right? I like to see what they're doing. If they're like this. I can fix you. Okay, so here's the amazing thing, right? Computer age. We get into a computer, I don't know what it is. If you've got email, Facebook, whatever, you want to get into the computer, right? You get all hunched over, and that's really bad for your posture, right? So you want to watch those things. So every once in a while, if you work at a computer, I want you to take 5-10 minutes, and just stretch out. Because why? It helps out your spine. Your spine is extremely important. Who here has any of these postures? We got sway back.
Oh boy.
Right?
Oh boy.
We
That
got
looks like
sway
a
back. We
dance
got
move.
lumbar lordosis. I like to call it a little junk in the
Let
trunk.
me zoom in. Let me zoom in on that. That's the Beyonce.
Thoracic kyphosis. And head forward. I'm going to talk about head forward, okay? Because 90% of people, as I look around, they have forward head carriage, right? And I want to talk about the dynamics of that real quick. Okay, forward head carriage. Imagine your head is about 10 pounds. So if I hold a 10-pound bowling ball right here, I could hold it for a while, right? I hold it out here, I'm not going to hold it as well, right? So same concept. Your head's about 10 pounds. It's over my body. I can hold it up pretty well. When it gets out here, just 1 inch, it doubles in weight. Okay, so now 10 pounds is 20 pounds. And then we get out here, we got 40 pounds, right? My girlfriend says I look like a turtle when I do that. I don't know. So it puts a lot of stress on your spine. Okay? So what does that do? Well, your nervous system is made up of the brain, the extension of the brain is the spinal cord, and all these spinal nerves go everything in our body, right? And the beauty of it is this works all the time as long as it's free of interference, okay? I look for, as a chiropractor, the interference between here. A lot of us knows us for our helping with back pain, neck pain, things like that, but I'm actually working with the nervous system. Okay? So without our nervous system, we wouldn't even exist. I look for subluxations or interference. Okay, so it's the term that we use. It's a malposition of vertebra, putting pressure on nerves, and it chokes on. See how big this nerve is? Right, that's a good one. See how small this one is? So same concept, and I've actually seen this on MRI. Someone will come in my office, and I can see where the problem is because I can see that the nerve is really small. Okay? And it only takes the weight of a dime. I mean, sometimes I can have a dime in my pocket and forget about it, right? And that weight alone can decrease your nerve flow by up to 70%. And Dr. Soot proved that in the 1970s. So subluxations come first. Now, what do I mean by that? A lot of times, someone will come into my office and say, hey, doc, I turned my head funny yesterday and I got pain in my neck. Never had pain in my entire life. Never had an issue. I take an x-ray of him, and he's riddled with arthritis. So this has been there a while, but he just didn't feel it. Okay, so that's why it's important to get checked. Okay, and then of course pain comes last. Okay, how do we get these things? We get them through trauma. And I want to talk a little bit about car accidents because we do a lot of car accidents work in my Calhoun office. Okay, I'm only about 3 minutes from here, I noticed, as I was coming through. So we're at the medical center at Calhoun Street. More than welcome to come in after this talk, and I will give some information on that later. But I want to talk about whiplash today. I'm also going to show you that stress. Who here is stressed? Right? Oh man, I'll tell you what. There's all kinds of stress. It's going to get hot soon, so you're going to be stressed and hot. That's okay. So, and then chemicals. Chemicals can cause subluxation and even the birth process itself. Imagine, you have a head coming out of a small opening, and a doctor reaches down, pulls with 70 pounds of pressure, turns the head to get one shoulder out, turns it the other way, pull it out. That's like me coming up to this gentleman right here and just picking him up. He'd probably give me a little jab in the stomach, right? Right? Because that's a lot of pressure. So that's a subluxator as well. Okay, so let's talk about car accidents. Every 10 seconds in the United States, there is, and actually in the world, there is a car accident. And these things can cause long-lasting physical effects. The impact can be as little as 15 miles an hour. So if you get a little bump, from someone behind you, and you think it was nothing, it can actually cause damage over time. Whiplash is a hyper, and a lot of people ask me, well, what is that? I mean, I see someone with a collar and things like that. What happens is if someone hits you from behind and you have a hyperflexion, so your head goes forward, and then after the energy of the impact goes through, you pull back like this, and then it is a hyperextension. Okay? So it's a very serious injury, creates a sprain strain, and we treat that at our office consistently on a daily basis. My Levittown office, where I'm the main doc, we're mostly family practice, so I deal a lot with all kinds of issues, low back pain, insomnia, things like that. But in this office over here, we mostly do auto accidents and personal injury. And address these issues. If you get in an auto accident, just don't, blow it off, because 6 months down the line, you could notice that, oh my gosh, my neck is bothering me now, and now I can't do anything about it, right? So do it as soon as possible. My job, and I'm going to close here because I think it's about my time. My job is to adjust people and get people well, and I love doing it. It excites me every day to walk into my office and help people, because I get people that are bent over, they can't walk, and by the time they leave my office, they're hugging me. Doc, you get all right. I said, it wasn't me, it was you. You had to get here. Right? So all I do is I get those subluxations freed up, and the people get better, and I love that. So let's see where I'm at. Honey, could you do me a favor and put those things out? I didn't have a table today. I was running around doing all kinds of stuff, and I wanted to get here sooner, but I didn't have a table, so I'm just going to pass out some things if that's okay, real quick. And to anyone in this room, if you want to have a consult with us, you have free consult. and you'll get a free mechanical massage at my office if you call 1-800-BACK-DOC and make an appointment. Ask for me. Don't ask for anybody else. We have a couple doctors. Ask for me. But, and then I'm going to ask the folks here for some questions before I do my last little spiel. You're probably going to get dizzy with that thing because I walked all over.
No, I know you're good.
Does anybody have any questions? Yes, ma'am.
Do you have to have a physician referral to come to you?
Some insurances, yes, but you know, a consult is free no matter how you look at it. So some insurances, yes. I take Medicare in my office. We do a lot of personal injury over here. So if you get in an auto accident, definitely give us a call for that. Yeah, we do take insurances. Yes, ma'am.
Do you treat scoliosis?
Scoliosis. I love scoliosis patients because you know what? It can be such a debilitating thing. Okay, over time, it can get worse, unfortunately. I like to see patients when they're young with scoliosis. I tell you why. I had a patient that came into my office. She was 16 years old, and 1 year later, let me preface that. 16 years old, and she had a 17-degree curve in her spine. Okay, so you could seriously notice it anytime you walk around and see her. So in 6 months, I changed that to a 7-degree. So the funny thing was, she was more happy that she was an inch taller. Right? So, but yes, scoliosis patients, yes, ma'am. Any other questions? Okay, well, yes, sir.
What's your basic advice to fixing posture?
Posture. Depends on what posture we're talking about. A lot of times, posture, if it's your shoulders and they're rolling forward, this is what I would like to do for you. And keep it simple. First, you get adjusted, of course. But secondly, get a piece of tape. Okay, this sounds very silly. But if you can I use you, sir? Yeah, I'm just going to go across. Get a piece of tape and put it from this side to this side, and this side to this side, with your shoulders back. And you will know it when you roll them forward, right? Because it'll pull at your skin, right? Yeah. It's a great, easy thing. You could go and buy a $50 harness, but tape is much cheaper, right? Just put it on there. I'm low budget sometimes. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
For the lumbar, for the lumbar lordosis, am I told to get that taken care of now?
Lumbar?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Am I told to get help with that now?
Oh, man.
I've been having it for years.
No, ma'am. My eldest patient is 105 years old. Wow. Yep, and I love this lady. I inherited her, of course. I've been in chiropractic 8 years now. So she's great because she can't see me half the time. She can't hear me, but she knows that when she has a problem, she comes into my office and she gets adjusted, and then she goes from there. Yes. So no, man, you're more than welcome to come to the office. Not a problem. Any other questions? Yes.
So, I have scoliosis, or I had scoliosis. I had the surgery. How do you? I have 12 vertebrae fused.
Okay.
How do you adjust when my back is not normal? I guess.
Well, what I do is I adjust around it. What you'll find is, sometimes, a bar or getting fusion is necessary because once you get above 45 degrees, remember when I was talking about choking off nerves? Well, you get such a pinch on a nerve, it will shut down the organs that are connected to it if you get so far. That's why 45 and greater is a life-threatening issue. So that's why they put those in there. Very often I've noticed that if I take an x-ray of people with that over years, the body has an amazing way of bending titanium. I cannot believe it, but it happens all the time where I take a picture post and there's bent rods in there. But what I do is I work around it. So let's say this part of it is the fused area. I work around it because the ones that are around it tend to overcompensate for the other sections that are fused. So yeah, we work around it because you'll notice that your neck probably is a little stiff too. Yeah, I know. Okay, who else? Any other? Yes, ma'am.
There are different techniques to
Well, they're all great. I love all the schools. Sherman College is where I went, and Sherman College is one of the last schools that really hold on to philosophy. So we do a lot of manual adjusting, so I use my hands, and some of that art has been lost in some of the other schools. But I use my hands mostly. I am diversified, so I can use an activator, which is a lighter force technique. But I wouldn't say there's any best, because each school teaches all of the techniques. Because when you go to your boards, I sat for 4 boards over the 4-year period, and the last board, you have to, physically get in there, and you have to show what you're adjusting. So you use your hands. To answer your question, there's no best one, but for me personally, I'm versed in 80% of them. So, but I use light force and hands-on technique because everyone's different, and I try to be versatile for my patient. Yes, sir.
There's no best one you just mentioned. I went to a chiropractor 6 months, a year ago. He's got a computer now
Yeah.
that measures whatever in the back.
Pro adjuster.
What's it?
Pro adjuster.
Probably.
Yes.
Your opinion, I mean, tell you his name, but what's your opinion on that?
I'm okay with it. You know why? Because it helps people. As long as people are going to a chiropractor, you don't have to come to me. Go to anyone. As long as you're getting well and you're happy and you're healthy, I'm happy. So the Pro Adjuster is a computerized machine. It goes down and clicks. Yeah. It clicks down every segment. Okay. And what it does is it measures the tone of that segment, and the tone seems off, to whatever standard they have within that box, because it's fixated. Then that's where you hone in on your adjustment, and it's all done with the tool itself. It goes click, 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 click. Yeah, so it pushes it forward. It's like a little jackhammer. So yes. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
So when you see someone, I have a friend, all bent, and as if they cannot straighten their body, they're bent over, is there any help for that? Is it too late?
Well, I mean, there's some things that I can help. I like to get to people when they're younger, because if I teach them the fundamentals, they grow nice and straight. Yeah, I mean, what I generally do is I help them mostly with when you're have posture where it rolls forward. We have what it's called a kyphotic curve, and that kyphosis can be battled, okay, with exercises actually. So, once you get adjustments in there and the segments are nice and free and moving, you have to do silly exercises when you look at them. And I'll show you one, okay, because I'm not embarrassed to do it. Imagine a ball here, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to lay on a yoga ball, and I'm going to lift, okay, this arm, this leg, okay? What that does is that strengthens the erector spinae muscles up and down the spine. And what happens is if you get those muscles nice and toned, it will help pull the spine back. Because you know what? The spine is an ever-moving thing. Even if you have arthritis and that's starting to set into your spine, and I've seen it in people as early as 30, yes, wow. As early as 30 with spinal osteophytes and that forming, you can combat that by doing some exercises and getting adjusted. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
This question I'm asking for my granddaughter, we just found out she has scoliosis.
Yes.
Would that be able to help her? But she's like at a 50-degree right now. And
how old is she?
According to she's 13.
13?
According to the doctors, she must have had it when she was born, but we were never told.
Yeah. Happens a lot in young girls. Vigorous exercise on opposing muscle groups. Okay, so a lot of exercise. Of course, get adjusted, and if it's monitored, you can improve it. If it starts to degrade, then it's time to get a harness.
But they were saying that it's laying on her lungs. They're talking about